Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological setting. I'm going to be talking about Jupiter in the second house in a natal chart. Now, first off, when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the Jupiter placements in houses. They were a little bit concise, and some people may have referred to them as snappy, so what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is, Jupiter in the second house is comparable to Jupiter in Taurus, but naturally you got to blend in the zodiac sign. Jupiter in Taurus in the second house can be different than Jupiter in Scorpio in the second house, as an example. Now, Jupiter in astrology can have has a connection with in-laws, so um, in-laws may figure prominently in your monetary situation, financial outlook. Um, it could be possessions, your values, how you feel about yourself, your self-worth and self-esteem, for better or for worse. They may be seen as a little bit stubborn and could be possessive, but yet persevering, stable, and trustworthy as well. This could be something too where the in-laws may also play an integral role in the development of your latent talents and abilities. Uh, Now, another thing about Jupiter in astrology is connected with our exuberance and enthusiasm. So having Jupiter posited in the second house in the natal chart, well, naturally there may be strong exuberance and enthusiasm for monetary matters, your finances, your possessions, matters pertaining to resources, and your material items and the things that you value, and just having general peace and stability. These are things which you may be very exuberant about, and the development of those latent talents and abilities. Say Jupiter is in Aquarius in the second house, those latent talents and abilities may be tied in to do it with something connected with astrology or astronomy or aviation, um, computers, electronics. Um, it could be working as an electrician, as some example, even model rockets in some cases. These are things, and also too, also just buying and selling in general. Um, it could be where you may be that person that's very, upbeat and optimistic in terms of what you may sell, and it may just simply be having, yard or garage sales. Jupiter in astrology is also connected with our philosophies and beliefs. So when Jupiter is posited in the second house in the natal chart, well, have your general, as far as your beliefs go, they may be tied into, being persistent, patient, persevering, being stable, staying the course, basically, having certain self-worth, self-esteem, how you feel about yourself, just being able to, could be consistently generating money. It might be tied into tangible assets, and also to this is something as well. When you have your the philosophy, keep in mind that when you're talking about the second house is also connected with the death of the significant other. So if you're alive when this happens, your philosophy and belief system may be impacted by this one way or the other. And the thing about Jupiter in astrology, it's also connected with luck and fortune. So when you have Jupiter posited in the second house in the natal chart, that luck, may be tied in to, just generally, monetary matters. You may be lucky in terms of money. It doesn't mean that you're going to win the lottery per se, but you may be that kind of person that generally has that money that you need when it, to have just when it's needed, whether it's to survive or what have you. And this could be naturally a prosperous position, though, because Jupiter is connected with prosperity, and the second house is, of course, associated with monetary matters, your finances. But prosperity may be, in some, second house field, whether it could be agriculture or banking or art, um, something with, architecture, um, maybe something working as a pawnbroker, working in stocks, as some examples. And prosperity may also be simply just in buying and selling. The prosperity you have may be strongly tied in as well with your self-worth, self-esteem, and how you feel about yourself. And it may come in a very methodical and deliberate manner as well. But another thing about having this placement, it's also, prosperity may and affluence may, be connected, with your latent talents and abilities as well. So this is, having, when we're talking about, Jupiter in astrology, it's also associated with higher education. So you may go about, matters pertaining to higher education in a very, deliberate, plotting, methodical manner. It could be you may be interested in some college or higher education course associated with banking, finance or art, which can cover a wide divergence of things, whether it could be drawing, painting, sculpting, as some examples. And you may be very persistent in these matters as well. And you may seek stability in terms of what you're pursuing in terms of higher education course, and the success you have in matters with higher education or college studies may play dividends in your self-worth, your self-esteem, and how you feel about yourself as well. Now, another thing about Jupiter in astrology, it's connected with expanding horizons. So you could be someone that expands your horizons in terms of the money, the income you generate. Um, you may go about these matters again in that deliberate, methodical manner. It could be doing something Taurus related, whether it could be, carpet laying, doing something with banking, finance, or working as a pawnbroker, doing something with architecture, agriculture, gardening, cultivation, as some examples. It could be art, again, which could cover a wide divergence of things, whether it could be drawing, painting, or sculpting, as some examples. Now, the thing about Jupiter in astrology, and I've stated this in previous videos, that even though Jupiter is strongly benign and benevolent, it has a tendency to enlarge and expand. It can be paradoxical. When you have Jupiter posited in the second house in a natal chart, some cases it may enlarge issues, with the throat, the neck, the thyroid. Keep in mind the second house does correspond with the zodiac sign Taurus, and it could enlarge issues with money, or for better or for worse. And also just matters associated with your self-esteem, your self-worth, and how you feel about yourself. Matters with banking, buying and selling, making profits. And the thing about this too is that Jupiter, when you have Jupiter posited in the second house in the natal chart, it could also be something where you may make money, doing something Jupiter related, whether it could be publishing, advertising, sports, religion, philosophy, doing something like printing press operation. Um, it could be, work in a foreign country, importing or exporting, as some examples. And the thing is, you generally, just having this placement in general, it could give you a very positive outlook in terms of, making money. And, as I was stating before, it can be a prosperous position in general, considering that Jupiter is associated with affluence and prosperity, and the second house is connected with money as well. You may be somebody that has an exorbitant amount of possessions with this placement. As well as Jupiter doesn't do anything on the small side, it generally enlarges. Jupiter is the planet of enlargement. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.